その場で下着を脱ぐように強要されたということです。
下着。
下着を一つのカバンに入れていたということですが。
I freaking love Ruijerd. Man, Ruijerd being the sense or the tone or the word of reasoning is really awesome to see. I think Rudy really needed that at this specific time. Not only did Ruijerd bring himself in, right? Somebody who I believe in my heart, genuinely, I believe Rudy considers Ruijerd as family because of how long they spent with each other, because of how, you know, how much their bond grew, by how much they both grew as people, and where, you know, Rudy is now. Like, a little bit of it is in part to Ruijerd on what Ruijerd bestowed onto Rudy, and, you know, how he kind of guided him and how he was like a mentor kind of thing to Rudy. But then that got reciprocated for a very long time with Ruijerd learning a lot from Rudy on how to change his mannerisms, how to change who he is, how to change how he views the world, how the world views him. Like, they've grown a lot. So I really love how Ruijerd came in, and I like how he was the voice of reasoning. I also like how he gave him an update on Roxy. Anytime Roxy gets mentioned here, I'm like, yeah, my baby girl Roxy, let's go. And I like how he was like, yo, Roxy was, she saw my eye and she was freaking out. I love that. And the only thing missing from this season for me personally really is Roxy. Like, you know, Roxy's my favorite character outside of, you know, Rudeus himself. Roxy's my favorite character of the show. She's best girl to me in the show. So the more limelight that she gets, or the more attention she gets, the more happy I get with the show. And I hope that we get a little bit more, or I hope we get some of her later on. But going back 2 steps, with Ruijerd kind of being the voice of reasoning, kind of being the tone of reasoning for Rudy, as Rudy begins talking to him about Eris, he asks like, hey, where's Eris at? And I love that he didn't know that Eris wasn't, you know, with him and stuff. But I love that Ruijerd had to kind of put him on and let him know, like, hey, Eris doesn't really communicate well. She doesn't really communicate her feelings well. Like, he spent a lot of time with these 2 kids, and he knows her pretty well. And he's like, you know, she might have said something or said one thing, but not really meant what she said. She might have meant something deeper. And he was like, the next time you see her, when you see her, don't come at her. Be calm, be collected, and listen to her. And I was like, yes, Ruijerd, my man, putting him on, because we know, you know, based on what we've seen in the show so far, and, you know, the missing episode that we got, we know that Eris deeply loves Rudy. She just doesn't feel worthy of Rudy, and she wants to go out there and expand her horizons and, you know, level up in a sense. And she wants to be able to be a protector for Rudy. I don't know why she feels this need, but she does. And you can't, how do you say it? You can't take that from her. Like, she feels this way, and there's nothing you can do to change it. So she feels like she needs to go out there and be this protector for Rudy. But she always feels that he's 1 step ahead or 2 steps ahead. So she's out there in the world trying to better herself to come back to Rudy. And I'm glad that Ruijerd was able to put him on of, like, when that happens, be calm, listen, you know. And I love that, because that's what I think really needs to happen, is because if he lets his emotions take over, you know, even when we were watching the moment happen, you know, he was like, I went through 3 years of hell, but he has a lot of, you know, pent up anger towards Eris. But like Ruijerd said, it could be anger based on a misunderstanding, which we know that it is. Now, it doesn't give Eris a pass for what she did. She still left our boy stranded, you know, digging his hand, just, you know, out there feeling like, you know, he got tore up. It doesn't remove those feelings. But I think Ruijerd has now put a path forward for Rudy with Eris whenever she comes back into the picture at some point. When she comes back looking for Rudy once again. And I think that door being opened is really, really cool. And I really, really love that about this episode. Flipping the script to Norn and Aisha. I mean, Aisha's the best. She's just the best. And I love how we saw some of Aisha's emotions here. And I'm really disappointed in Paul, actually, that those emotions had to come out, because she refers to Lilia as, a concubine and blah, blah, blah. And in those same sentences, she kind of puts herself down as like the half sister. It's like, nah, like, you're the half, you're not just the half sibling, like you're more than that. And, in Rudy's heart, probably she comes before Norn, and I get where Aisha's coming from, right? Is, Norn and Rudy are pure siblings, and then she's the half sister. Now, obviously, Rudy doesn't view it that way at all, because, he's not from this, he's isekai, so he's not from this world. But then on top of that, he just doesn't see it that way, he was as close to Lilia as he was to Zenith. But of course, one is mother, but Lilia was like a mentor and was like a protector. And I'm using those words a lot, but she's somebody just as important as Zenith, to Rudy. So, I love that we were able to see Aisha's emotions come forward. And again, I'm disappointed in Paul from not setting that straight, because if she's feeling that way, Paul dropped the ball by not setting her grandma or Lilia or whatever, like, being there for Aisha and not setting them straight. You know what I mean? Like, I think Paul really dropped the ball there. But I'm glad that Rudy was able to explain, like, no, I don't feel like that way at all. Like, you're my sister, period, at the end. There's nothing will ever change that. And I like how Rudy, came and did that for her. Now, transitioning to Norn, the end of the episode showed Norn lonely. Lonely and struggling and in a dorm and in a new area and in a new place and in a new school all by herself. And although I understand why Rudy let her go to the dorms, right? He's like, she hates me. She doesn't want to be around me. She fights with Aisha. One of the things that Rudy is not thinking of, and it's because in his past life, he didn't have children. And, partially in his past life, I don't think he had that adult maturity. I don't think he matured enough in his past life or this one to understand the feelings of a child. And I think that, he dropped the ball as well this episode with Norn, because I understand that, again, he let her go to the doors because he's like, she doesn't want to be around me, but she needs that forced love. You know what I mean? Like, he kind of let her go to be on her own. And I know he wants to, like, I'm going to get to know her slowly and build it. But fighting with Aisha and learning to get along with Rudy, I think, are very important things that he should have kept her at his home. And I think I think he really dropped the ball there with Norn, because he kind of has to, like, she has to be able to see Rudy daily. And I think fighting with Aisha is important from, like, a sister camaraderie kind of point. Like, I really think, like, it's really important, even if it's fighting and bickering, I think it's extremely important for Norn to have that level of safeness. And even if she's angry at times, I think it comes from a good place. So I really think he dropped the ball there, but now he let her go. So he's gonna have to figure it out. But I really feel bad for Norn. She's definitely struggling a lot. Big attachment to Paul and being ripped from that. Seeing another father figure in Ruijerd, you know what I mean? Like, she's like, Ruijerd, I want to go with you, kind of thing. It's like she's looking for something or, some kind of feeling and is just not getting it. And I do think school's a good place for her, and I do think she'll grow. But all of that is going to be with a lot of intervention from Rudy. So I'm really interested to see on how they continue to handle her. And I really want them. I hope the story continues to really focus on Norn, going forward. Now, I have faith because next episode is called My Older Brother's Feelings. So I'm hoping that this is the moment where Rudy really, like, reaches out to Norn and really sets things straight. But overall, I mean, I really love this episode, and Norn is really sad, and I hope that really Rudy reaches out and fixes that. But overall, fantastic episode. Don't want to talk anymore, so I'll let you go to the comments. Let me know what you guys thought. But I really want to see more of him and Norn and get that relationship straight. And Aisha nailing the test and everything. Like, what a smart girl Aisha is. What a cutie patootie. Oh, also Lilia and Presena or Ilya or whatever, the two beast girls stealing a bunch of panties and stuff. Oh my god, they're fools. All right. Love this episode. Fantastic. I know I missed a few things. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought. I'll see you guys next week as we review the next episode of Mushoku Tensei. All right, friends. Peace.